thinks it's a coincidence that the same amount of time the story went out and this happened. So we don't know right now. Maybe someone saw the story or something. I honestly don't know. I don't know. Seriously, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just fucking worried that how could this have happened. But I'm at work right now, so I can't talk. I'll speak to you later. Everyone's here. Everyone's around me, but so I can't speak. So take care, mate. Bye bye.
I have no idea who it was. I mean, it was only open for speculation, and I certainly speculated the same thing as you, that that audio got out and someone heard it. Whether it really was his current employer, I don't know. I just think it definitely was someone. It had to be someone who knew him. It had to be someone who recognized his voice, and that could have been, vindication from a previous employer. It could have been from, fellow colleagues as opposed to an employer. It could have been just a colleague who perhaps maybe lost a deal as a result of him.
And so that's a couple days before Christmas. He goes back to work the day after Christmas, and sure enough, he sends me a text message asking me if I want to save someone.
Hello?
Hi, I'm calling to tell you that you might be involved in a phone scam and you need to hang up.
Really?
Are you still on the phone with them?
Yes.
What are they saying to you?
They're saying that I have my SIN number, social insurance number, misused to open some bank account with our fraud, and I have to go right now to the bank.
Okay, well, they're lying to you and you need to hang up. Are you still on the phone with them right now?
How could I know? Yeah, how could I know they are lying?
Because I have information coming from India that this is a scam. They probably have Indian accents, don't they? So what's going on here? He keeps having these close calls with the media. His apartment's getting robbed, but yet he continues to give you these numbers and to do these saves. What's going on here? Does he have like some kind of a death wish?
I think it's kind of one of those situations where he's looking for continued affirmation. He's looking for that continued encouragement from us that what he's doing is the right thing. And I think he knows it's the right thing. And I think that when he's not doing that, when that's not there, the excitement's not there, then it's 9 to 5. It's mundane. It's in, steal, get out, go home, back to work, steal, back home. There's nothing. I don't think there's anything else there. He's sent me countless and countless of videos of his living conditions and his working conditions and stuff like that, and I can see how it can lead to some massive mental health issues over there, and certainly for him. And I think that this gave him that purpose in life. Unfortunately, I think he quickly attached a monetary tone to it. I think he quickly come to recognize and maybe for whatever information, I don't know what research he had done, but he had just saw that all of these people now are coming on and watching this story, reading this story, and that you now are going to be capitalizing on his story. And that in itself was a tremendous challenge for us to get over, to get him over to realize and recognize that this is not network television. This is not even cable television. Where the numbers aren't there. There's no one making money on this. This is a hobby. This is this is other things that are feeding this, and money is certainly not one of them. Because you're not paying you're not paying your expenses on what revenues are going to come out of any of the ads or come out of any of the monetary arrangements with YouTube. It just wasn't there, and he struggled with that. He struggled to understand that. He just felt that there was a lot of money being made eventually, but initially he was excited, and I think that was the reason for it, is that he saw this as an opportunity now for him to start earning some sort of income from this.
I don't make a ton of money on my YouTube views. I'm not Logan Paul or anything. I don't get millions and millions of views, but he seemed to think that I was going to be bringing in a ton of money doing these videos, and that's when he kind of asked me about the possibility of setting up a kind of a GoFundMe for him. I know that he didn't want to be a scammer for his whole life. His real dream was to start a business. He wanted to start, I think, a deli of some kind. He wanted to sell groceries and just, be a legitimate person with a legitimate business.
Honestly, Ben, I'm just hoping, honestly, I'm being serious with you. I'm just hoping we see all these stories on YouTube. Somehow I get some money out of it. I go open up a convenience store, and that's it.
But it was hard for me to want to just, throw out a GoFundMe and say, here you go, because that's not what I do on my channel. I have thousands of people who message me asking for help, talking about the dire circumstances that they live in. And I feel like I just couldn't do a GoFundMe for him because, one, he's currently working in a scam center. He scams people for a living. He can't save every single one of his victims, or else he's going to get exposed. And two, I just feel like he needed to do something to earn it. After some time, he was starting to get kind of frustrated with me, and I think maybe you, that we weren't thinking of his interests. We were just maybe thinking about the entertainment factor, and we weren't thinking of his situation.
Can we give GoFundMe a go? Well, I'll appreciate if you could give that a go, even if it raises something for me.
You have to take a look at that and say, well, okay, is this really the message that we're trying to send? It's not. You and I've had many discussions around this as to whether or not a GoFundMe would be the appropriate way to do it. We come up with a couple of other different strategies that would kind of take that away, because again, it's not, in keeping with what you said, that's not your model. And if you were now to go out and start raising money, we knew that had to be taken into consideration with all the other challenges that we were facing. And that was the challenges of people thinking that we're part of the scam. We're just inflating the numbers. We're looking for this money and we're going to do this and we're going to keep the money. And there was all of that. So you get all of that skepticism coming in to begin with a story that is almost unbelievable, which we knew that was the case. People were saying that this is all made up, this is fabricated. So when you take all of that and then you bring in the fact that we're trying to do a GoFundMe page to raise money, all of those things came in, and there was just too many black marks. There was just too many cons and not enough pros to head in that direction. And I think that's what that you agreed and that we kind of consented on, the fact that a GoFundMe is not something that we really wanted to do in this regard. So we looked at other ways.
Yeah, I finally kind of made a little bit of a compromise. While I didn't come out with a GoFundMe, I did put a little pitch into one of the episodes where I said, look at what this guy's doing. He's putting his life on the line. If you want to see more of this, if you want more people to be saved, consider making a donation. Also, we would invite you, if you can, to make a donation to help out Steve, because he takes a big risk doing that. And I put a PayPal link in the description of that video, and I just invited people, if they wanted, to make a donation, to go ahead and do it. And a couple of people did. We only raised maybe like between $300 or $400. It wasn't a ton, and Steve was very, very grateful, but it wasn't a ton. It wasn't going to get him a new lifestyle, obviously. It wasn't going to give him the capital to start up a deli. But that just wasn't working. At one point, he said to me and maybe to you, he said, I've saved dozens of people from losing thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars. What if we reached out to them and said, hey, this guy put his life on the line to save you. Would you consider donating and helping him out? And did you ever try that? It seems like most of the people that you saved never were so either embarrassed or afraid or scared or spooked. They didn't know what the heck had just happened, that they weren't about to engage with you or him.
he 100% came to me and said that this is what we should do. We should reach out to these people. These people should be grateful. They should be prepared to cough up a little bit of money for what it is, kind of like a reward situation. But that was not even something that would even pass my conscious brain, let alone my subconscious brain. I would never go to somebody who was a victim of a crime and say, hey, listen, would you consider donating some money because this guy helped you out? That was never going to happen.
Once again, Ben, that woman that you saved yesterday, she's another fucking dumb bitch that said, yes, somebody phoned me saying that she's involved in a phone scam and that there is an informant that's phoned them and told them that she's being scammed and bullshit. These people that we are saving, they're going to get me killed one day.
And very early on, he had never, ever said, can I have money? Will you send me money? Nothing. That was never, ever a thought. The only thing he ever said was, you know, if we can fake some phone calls, they'll pay me and I'll get paid for it. And that was really it. And then it was I who come up with the idea to say, okay, well, listen, if you work for me, I'll pay you.
But at the end of the day, I gotta do what I gotta do, so hopefully I can get out of this mess and live just a law-abiding citizen life, because I've helped these Americans save their money.
But that's the interesting part, is that even though the episodes had kind of ended and the donations had kind of dried up, you'd still get a random voicemail. I would get a random text saying, I've got a person for you to save. Go save this person. And without kind of expecting anything, he's just saying, you want to save somebody? Here's a number.
And that's the sincerity. That's where the sincerity just penetrates right through all of that, and he does what's right.
Here's a number I've sent you to save that woman, mate. She's gonna lose 5,000.
There's no money on the table right now. There's nothing on the table right now. But yet he continues to offer these up with no expectation that he's going to get paid. I just got a message one day saying that he was in the hospital and that he needed to have surgery. Okay, what do you mean? Well, yeah, you know, he got run down by a car, but I was a little bit skeptical about this. It was around the holidays of last year, and I quickly grabbed my phone and I did a video conference call with him. And lo and behold, in his full glory, he was in the hospital, in a hospital bed, and he was in a full cast from his foot to his hip. And the story was that he was walking home from work when he looked behind at night. A car was coming straight at him, mounted the curb, striking him, throwing him up in the air to the ground, and literally crushing his foot. Did it have to do with the recent news article? You know, it's I don't know what else he's got going on in his life. I don't know if he's doing anything else. I really don't know. You know, it happened within probably within a month or two of the story. So was it an accident? Was it an impaired driver who mounted a curb? Was it a careless driver? Was it a reckless driver? I don't know.
I've shared some stories about your experience, about how you've kind of gotten into a little bit of hot water and you've raised some eyebrows of your bosses. Can you talk a little bit about some of the risks and the dangers and challenges that you faced as you've been trying to save people and kind of leak some of this information?
I've been run over. Run over. One of my previous bosses, when I got run over, I broke my leg. So because they ran me over, I was in hospital for I would say 1 week. I was in hospital, but my leg was in plaster for 8 weeks.
Why did they run you over? Did they suspect that you were leaking information?
Yes, because they suspect it's me. They suspected it was me, but they cannot prove it's me. I always deny it's me. But all I know is I got run over and I don't know nobody to run me over, so it must be them who run me over. 'Cause 2 plus 2 is 4, so they run me over. I know they run me
Like,
over.
have
with
they
a car.
seen my YouTube videos, or have they just found out that you've been, tattletelling on the people that we're saving? Or
No, there was a story in the past that's come out, and they put 2 and 2 together, and
the Jeremy
they know
Natal thing?
from yes,
Oh,
yes.
I
so
won't
they
cover
know
that.
from- okay.
All right, well, that's crazy. All right, maybe one day we can talk about Jeremy Natal.
Yeah.
After his injury, I tried to hook him up with an associate of mine that's in New Delhi that's running a factory there, and he had agreed to employ Steve at his facility as soon as Steve got his passport, and he agreed to pay for his passport and get everything up and running. And this guy was now finally getting out of this industry, and now has a job, a reputable job, working for a factory in New Delhi, and this is the exciting new position for him. And then while this was going on and I was communicating back and forth, a couple of days went by. I haven't heard from him. I sent a text message, got nothing, sent a text message, got nothing, sent a text message, still got nothing. And then one day, I got a broken English message back saying that Steve is in the hospital and he's in with the coronavirus. I remember Steve had just previously told me that he was on his way to the hospital to visit a family member who was in the hospital with pneumonia, was on a ventilator, wasn't doing well. And this was just shortly before, this was around the first part of March. So it was a little bit before coronavirus was really a hot thing. And the message that I had gotten was from a nephew of his who was giving us now daily information that he was in intensive care and he was being looked after, and that they were thinking that they were going to have to put him on a ventilator, but that he wasn't on a ventilator. And you can hear in some of his audio clips, he does suffer from respiratory problems. It's very obvious that he suffers from chronic respiratory problems. So my opinion at that particular point with my background, I knew that if he was to contract the coronavirus, it would probably be the end of Casey Hunter.
Oh man, what's gonna happen next? You can find out in the next episode that's coming out in a few days, or you can go watch it right now if you're a channel member. I'm glad that you guys are liking these videos, and I'm glad that Surfshark VPN is sponsoring the series, because I love Surfshark VPN. There's a lot of use cases for a VPN. Like a couple of weeks ago, I was trying to watch a baseball game, but it wasn't available in my state. So I turned on Surfshark VPN and I was magically able to access it. There's a lot of websites banned in many countries due to internet censorship or geo-blocking, and you'll be surprised how much more Netflix you can watch because a VPN will let you find libraries from all over the world. Surfshark unlocks more than 15 in the US, Japan, France, and other countries. So secure your digital life and access the content that you love with a VPN that I trust. Go to surfshark.deals/pleasantgreen for an 83% off discount and 3 additional months for free. You'll love it, and I will see you in the next video.